Module 7, Incident Investigation, Inspections and Compliance. In this module, we focus on one of the most important responsibilities of any health, safety, and environmental professional, learning from failure and preventing recurrence. Every incident, near miss, unsafe act, unsafe condition, audit finding, and compliance failure contains valuable information. Professional organizations do not simply react to incidents. They investigate them. They analyze them. They learn from them. Most importantly, they improve their systems to prevent recurrence. At KayHab 17, HSE Global Safety Leader, we teach that effective safety management is not measured by the absence of incidents alone. It is measured by how effectively an organization identifies weaknesses before they lead to injury, illness, environmental damage, property loss, or operational disruption. This training module aligns with NEBOSH International General Certificate, IOSH Managing Safely, ISO 45001:2018, ILO Convention C-155, HSG 245 Investigating Accidents and Incidents. By the end of this module, learners should be able to participate in incident investigations, preserve evidence professionally, conduct workplace inspections, support audit programs, understand compliance obligations, prepare professional HSE reports, support continuous improvement systems. These competencies are highly valued in oil and gas facilities, petrochemical plants, construction projects, manufacturing industries, shutdown and turnaround projects, infrastructure developments, power generation facilities. Remember this principle throughout the module. Incidents rarely occur because of one mistake. They occur because multiple controls failed. Understanding those failures is the foundation of professional incident investigation. Section 1. Incident Investigation Fundamentals. Learning Objective. By the end of this section, learners should be able to explain the purpose of incident investigations, differentiate between immediate, underlying, and root causes, preserve evidence correctly, conduct basic witness interviews, apply 5 whys and fishbone analysis techniques, recommend effective corrective actions, why investigate incidents, real-world industry example. In many major industrial disasters, investigations later revealed that warning signs existed weeks, months, or even years before the event occurred. Examples include unsafe conditions were reported but not corrected, previous near misses ignored, maintenance deficiencies were left unresolved, and training gaps were identified but not addressed. Audit findings were repeatedly closed without verification. The incident itself was often only the final event in a long chain of failures. This is why incident investigation is critical. An investigation should answer 3 questions. What happened? Why did it happen? How do we prevent it from happening again? Notice that none of these questions asks, who should we blame? Professional investigations focus on systems, controls, and organizational failures. This approach is supported by HSG 245, ISO 45001 NEBOSH Principles, IOSH Best Practices. Understanding incident categories. Not every investigation involves a serious injury. Professional HSE practitioners investigate a wide range of events. Fatality. An incident resulting in death. These require a comprehensive investigation. Lost time injury, LTI. An injury causing absence from work beyond the day of occurrence. Medical treatment case, MTC. Injury requiring treatment beyond first aid. Restricted work case, RWC. The worker remains employed but cannot perform normal duties. First aid case. Minor injuries requiring basic treatment only. Property damage incident. Damage to equipment, vehicles, facilities, or materials. Environmental incident. Examples include oil spills, chemical releases, air emissions, waste contamination. Near miss. A near miss is an unplanned event that could have caused injury, damage, or loss but did not. Near misses provide some of the most valuable learning opportunities because no one has been harmed yet. At KayHab 17, we encourage learners to treat near misses with the same seriousness as actual incidents. Understanding incident causation. NEBOSH investigations require identification of immediate causes, underlying causes, root causes. Understanding the difference is essential. Immediate causes. Immediate causes are the direct unsafe acts and unsafe conditions that contributed to the incident. Examples: unsafe acts: not wearing PPE, bypassing machine guards, using incorrect tools, taking shortcuts. Unsafe conditions: wet floors, damaged equipment, missing barriers, poor lighting. These are usually the easiest causes to identify. However, they rarely explain the full story. Underlying causes: underlying causes explain why the unsafe act or unsafe condition existed. Examples: inadequate supervision, poor communication, insufficient training, poor maintenance planning, weak permit controls. These are often management-related failures. Root causes: root causes are the fundamental weaknesses in the management system. Examples: no inspection program, no competency assessment process, weak leadership commitment, inadequate risk assessment system, poor safety culture. Root causes exist at the organizational level. If root causes are not addressed, similar incidents are likely to occur again. Root cause is not equal to worker fault, human error, and system failure. A common mistake in investigations is stopping at the worker made a mistake. Professional investigators ask, why did the mistake occur? Possible reasons include fatigue, stress, time pressure, poor supervision, confusing procedures, inadequate training, and poor workplace design. Human error is often a symptom of deeper organizational issues. This is why investigations must go beyond individual actions. Evidence preservation. A successful investigation depends on the quality. Once evidence is lost, conclusions become unreliable. Therefore, one of the first responsibilities after an incident is preserving the scene. Physical evidence. Examples: damaged equipment, broken components, PPE, tools, materials. Documentary evidence. Examples: permits, risk assessments, method statements, maintenance records, inspection reports, training records. Digital evidence. Examples: CCTV recordings, access control logs, electronic permits, emails, photographs. Witness evidence. Information from injured persons, co-workers, supervisors, contractors, visitors, practical demonstration, slip and fall investigation. Scenario: a technician slips near a pump station and fractures a wrist. The floor appears wet. Several workers witness the event. Step 1. Secure the area. Actions: stop work if necessary. Prevent secondary incidents. Preserve evidence. Step 2. Provide medical assistance. Ensure the injured worker receives treatment. Life-saving actions always take priority over evidence collection. Step 3. Preserve the scene. Prevent unnecessary disturbance. Photograph. Floor condition, lighting, signage, footwear, equipment condition. Step 4. Collect documents. Review. Inspection records, maintenance records, housekeeping reports, risk assessments. Step 5. Interview witnesses. Gather information separately. Avoid group interviews. Peace interview model. Professional interviews should follow the peace approach. P. Planning. Prepare objectives and questions. E. Engage. Establish rapport. Explain the purpose. Account. Allow the witness to explain events. Avoid interrupting. C. Clarify. Ask specific follow-up questions. E. Evaluate. Compare information against evidence. Identify inconsistencies. Root cause analysis tools. 5 whys method. Problem: the worker slipped. Why? The floor was wet. Why? Oil leak from the pump. Why? Mechanical seal failed. Why? Preventive maintenance overdue. Why? The maintenance tracking system ineffective. Root cause: failure of the maintenance management system. Fishbone analysis. Categories include people, equipment, environment, methods, management materials. This technique helps identify multiple contributing factors. Review the slip and fall scenario. Identify immediate cause, underlying cause, root cause. Discuss findings with a group. Quick quiz question 1. What is a root cause? Answer: the fundamental management or system failure that allowed the incident to occur. Question 2. Why should investigations avoid blame? Answer: blame discourages reporting and prevents learning. Question 3. What evidence should be preserved? Answer: physical evidence, documents, digital records, photographs, and witness information. On-site application. In oil and gas facilities, construction projects, and shutdown environments, junior HSE personnel frequently assist investigations by taking photographs, preserving evidence, conducting witness interviews, gathering records, tracking corrective actions, monitoring implementation of recommendations. These skills are essential for professional HSE development. Part 2. HSE audits, compliance monitoring, and legal responsibilities from inspections to compliance. In Part 1, we learn how professional HSE practitioners investigate incidents and conduct workplace inspections. Inspections help us identify hazards before incidents occur. However, inspections alone cannot guarantee safety performance. Organizations must also verify whether their safety management systems are functioning effectively. This is where audits and compliance monitoring become essential. A workplace may appear safe during inspection, but deeper system weaknesses may still exist. For example, training records may be incomplete. Emergency drills may never be conducted. Inspection findings may remain unresolved. Risk assessments may not be reviewed. Corrective actions may not be tracked. These weaknesses are often identified through structured auditing processes. Professional HSE practitioners must understand not only what is happening in the workplace, but also whether management systems are working as intended. Section 3, HSE Audits and Compliance Monitoring. HSE Audits and Compliance Monitoring Learning Objective. By the end of this section, learners should be able to explain the purpose of HSE audits, differentiate between inspections and audits, understand internal and external audit processes, identify nonconformities, support corrective action programs, assist ISO 45001 compliance monitoring activities. Why audits are necessary. Real-world example. Many major incidents occurred in organizations that believed they had effective safety systems. However, later investigations revealed procedures existed but were not followed. Records existed but were inaccurate. Inspections were completed, but findings remained unresolved. Training was recorded, but competency was not verified. These failures often remain hidden until an audit exposes them. An audit is therefore a powerful management tool. Audits verify. Are we doing what we say we do? Is the system actually working? Are controls effective? What is an HSE audit? An HSE audit is a systematic, independent, and documented process used to evaluate whether safety management systems comply with specified requirements. Audits examine policies, procedures, records, workplace implementation, legal compliance, management effectiveness. Unlike inspections, audits focus on systems rather than conditions. Inspection versus audit inspection focuses on workplace conditions, equipment, housekeeping, PPE, physical hazards. Example, checking whether a fire extinguisher is present and accessible. Audit focuses on management systems, procedures, records, compliance. Example, checking whether fire extinguisher inspections are scheduled, documented, and reviewed. Inspections examine conditions. Audits examine systems. Internal audits. Internal audits are conducted by the organization itself. Objectives include verifying compliance, identifying weaknesses, improving performance, preparing for external audits. Internal auditors should be competent, objective, and independent where possible. Internal audits support continual improvement. External audits. External audits are performed by clients, regulatory authorities, certification bodies, independent consultants. Examples include ISO 45001 certification audits, client contractor audits, government inspections. External audits provide independent verification. ISO 45001 compliance monitoring. Professional HSE practitioners should understand several key ISO 45001 requirements. Clause 9.1. Monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation. Organizations must monitor performance, measure effectiveness, analyze results, evaluate compliance. Clause 9.2. Internal audit. Organizations must conduct planned audits to verify compliance, effectiveness, continuous improvement. Clause 10.2. Incident, nonconformity, and corrective action. Organizations must investigate incidents, determine causes, implement corrective actions, and verify effectiveness. These requirements closely align with NEBOSH and IOSH principles. Understanding nonconformities. A nonconformity occurs when a requirement is not fulfilled. Examples include documentation nonconformities, missing inspection records, missing permits, incomplete training records. Operational nonconformities, workers not following procedures, missing PPE, and inadequate supervision. Equipment nonconformities, expired fire extinguishers, defective lifting equipment, uncalibrated gas detectors. Major versus minor nonconformities. Minor, isolated issue with limited impact. Example, one incomplete inspection record. Major, system failure or repeated issue. Example, no inspection system exists. Understanding severity helps prioritize corrective action. Corrective action process, CAPA. CAPA means corrective and preventive action. The purpose is not merely to fix the problem. The purpose is to prevent recurrence. Step 1. Identify the issue. Example, scaffold inspection records are missing. Step 2. Investigate cause. Why were records missing? Training issue? Supervision issue? Process failure? Step 3. Implement corrective action. Examples, retrain inspectors, improve the checklist system, and update procedures. Step 4. Verify effectiveness. Did the solution work? Evidence must support closure. Step 5. Close action. Only after effectiveness is confirmed. Practical demonstration mock audit exercise. Finding 1. Emergency eye wash station blocked by store materials. Finding 2. Several workers are operating without documented toolbox talk attendance. Finding 3. Expired scaffold inspection tag. Trainer activity. Ask learners, is this a nonconformity? Major or minor? What corrective action is required? Encourage discussion. Quick quiz question 1. What is a nonconformity? Answer, failure to meet a specified requirement. Question 2. Why are audits important? Answer, they verify whether management systems are functioning effectively. Question 3. What is corrective action? Answer, action taken to eliminate the cause of a problem and prevent recurrence. On-site application. In oil and gas shutdowns, HSE personnel often participate in client audits, verify permit records, review inspection documentation, track corrective actions, and monitor compliance performance. Audit competence significantly increases employability within high-risk industries. Section 4, HSE Legal Responsibilities. Legal responsibilities, learning objective. By the end of this section, learners should understand employer duties, employee responsibilities, principles of prevention, legal consequences of noncompliance, enforcement actions, why legal compliance matters. Real industry example. A contractor was performing maintenance work at height. The worker was not connected to an approved anchor point. No fall prevention measures existed. The worker fell several meters and suffered fatal injuries. Subsequent investigation identified no suitable risk assessment, poor supervision, inadequate planning, failure to enforce procedures. The incident resulted in regulatory investigation, financial penalties, project delays, reputational damage. This demonstrates why legal compliance is essential. Employer responsibilities. Employers have primary responsibility for workplace safety. They must provide safe workplace, work environments free from foreseeable hazards, safe equipment. Equipment must be maintained, inspected, and suitable for the purpose. Training and competence. Workers must receive induction training, task-specific training, refresher training. Risk assessment. Hazards must be identified and controlled. Supervision. Workers require appropriate oversight. Emergency preparedness. Organizations must prepare for fire, chemical release, medical emergencies, rescue situations, employee responsibilities. Employees also have responsibilities. Workers must follow procedures, comply with established controls, use PPE, correctly use the protective equipment provided, report hazards, promptly communicate unsafe conditions, cooperate with safety measures, participate in inspections, investigations, and training. ILO Convention C-155. ILO C-155 promotes safe workplaces, health protection, worker participation, hazard prevention. Its principles influence occupational safety legislation worldwide. Principles of prevention. Professional HSE systems prioritize prevention. Key principles include avoid risks, remove hazards wherever possible, evaluate risks, assess severity and likelihood, combat risks at source, address hazards before exposure occurs, adapt work to people, consider human factors, prioritize collective controls, guardrails before harnesses, engineering controls before PPE, enforcement actions. Regulators may take enforcement action when legal breaches occur. Examples include improvement notice, requires deficiencies to be corrected, prohibition notice, stops dangerous activities immediately, fines, financial penalties, prosecution, legal proceedings against organizations or individuals, civil liability, compensation claims from injured parties, practical case study, failure to provide fall protection, scenario, workers performing maintenance on an elevated platform, no guardrails, no harness system, no permit controls, the worker falls and sustains severe injuries, discussion, identify, immediate causes, underlying causes, root causes, determine, employer failures, employee responsibilities, require corrective actions. Quick quiz, question 1. Who is responsible for safety? Answer. Everyone has responsibilities, but employers hold primary legal duties. Question 2. Can workers refuse unsafe work? Answer. Where permitted by law and procedure, workers may stop work if danger exists. Question 3. What may happen after legal violations? Answer. Notices, fines, prosecution, civil claims, and reputational damage. On-site application. Professional HSE personnel support legal compliance by monitoring standards, conducting inspections, supporting investigations, tracking corrective actions, communicating legal obligations. These responsibilities are common across oil and gas, petrochemical facilities, refineries, LNG plants, construction projects, manufacturing operations. Part 3. Documentation, reporting, employability, and final assessment documentation creates evidence. Throughout this module, we have discussed investigations, inspections, audits, compliance monitoring, and legal responsibilities. However, none of these activities can be effectively managed without proper documentation. A safety activity that is not documented becomes extremely difficult to verify. During incident investigations, audits, legal proceedings, insurance claims, and management reviews, documentation often becomes the most important source of evidence. Professional HSE practitioners must therefore develop strong reporting and record-keeping skills. At KayHab 17, HSE Global Safety Leader, we emphasize that documentation is not administrative paperwork. It is a critical safety control. Accurate records help organizations demonstrate compliance, identify trends, track performance, monitor corrective actions, support investigations, improve decision-making. Good documentation protects workers. Poor documentation creates risk. Section 5 Documentation and reporting learning objective. By the end of this section, learners should be able to explain the importance of HSE documentation, prepare professional reports, understand key reporting formats, record findings objectively, support compliance and audit activities, maintain accurate records, why documentation matters, real industry example. Following a serious lifting incident during a refinery shutdown, investigators requested lift plans, permit records, toolbox talk records, crane inspection certificates, training records. Several critical records were missing because documentation was incomplete. Investigators could not verify whether controls had been implemented. The organization faced significant legal and regulatory challenges. The lesson is clear. If it is not documented, it may be difficult to prove it happened. Documentation supports legal compliance, operational control, performance measurement, continuous improvement. Common HSE documents. Professional HSE practitioners regularly use a variety of documents. Incident reports. Purpose. Record details of incidents and near misses. Typical contents include date and time, location, persons involved, description of event, injuries or damage, immediate actions taken, investigation findings, corrective actions. Reports should be factual. Avoid assumptions. Near-miss reports. Purpose. Capture events that could have caused injury or damage but did not. Near misses provide opportunities to learn before someone is harmed. Examples. Dropped object narrowly misses worker. The vehicle almost collides with pedestrian. The worker discovers a damaged scaffold before use. Nonconformance reports, NCR. Purpose. Document failures to comply with requirements. Examples. Missing inspection records, expired certification, procedure not followed. NCRs help organizations track compliance failures. Inspection reports. Purpose. Record inspection findings. Typical sections include area inspected, hazards identified, risk level, recommended actions, responsible person, completion date, audit reports. Purpose. Document audit findings. May include conformities observations, minor nonconformities, major nonconformities recommendations. Daily HSE reports. Commonly used on construction projects, shutdowns, turnarounds in oil and gas facilities. Typical content. Workforce numbers, activities performed, inspections conducted, safety observations, incidents, environmental issues, corrective actions, observation cards. Observation cards are simple but powerful tools. Purpose. Allow workers to report unsafe acts, unsafe conditions, good practices, improvement opportunities. Observation programs support proactive safety management. Many organizations use observation cards to strengthen safety culture. Professional reporting principles. Every HSE report should be accurate. Information must be correct. Objective. Focus on facts, not opinions. Clear. Easy to understand. Complete. Include all relevant information. Timely. Reports should be completed promptly. Professional. Use appropriate language. Avoid emotional or accusatory statements. Facts before opinions. Common reporting mistakes. Professional HSE personnel should avoid assumptions. Example. Incorrect. The worker was careless. Correct. The worker entered the area without authorization. Emotional language. Incorrect. The supervisor was completely irresponsible. Correct. The supervisor did not verify permit requirements before work commenced. Missing evidence. Report should reference photographs, witness statements, inspection records, permits, risk assessments. Incomplete corrective actions. Recommendations must be specific and measurable. Example. Weak recommendation. Workers should be more careful. Strong recommendation. Install physical barriers and revise access control procedures. Practical demonstration. Writing a daily HSE report scenario. Construction site workforce. 120 personnel. Activities. Scaffolding, pipe installation. Crane lifting, hot work. Positive observations. Toolbox talks completed. Good housekeeping observed. Barricades maintained. Negative findings. Damaged extension cable removed. The missing fire extinguisher has been identified. Corrective actions. Replacement cable issued. Fire extinguisher replaced. Incident summary. No injuries reported. No environmental incidents reported. Trainer notes. Ask learners. What information should be included? What information should be excluded? Why are assumptions dangerous? Practical activity. Report, review, exercise. Provide learners with incident scenario, inspection findings, witness statements. Ask learners to prepare a brief incident report. Identify factual information. Remove assumptions. Recommend corrective actions. Discuss findings. Quick quiz question 1. Why are records important? Answer. They provide evidence of compliance, support investigations, and demonstrate due diligence. Question 2. What makes a report professional? Answer. Accuracy, objectivity, clarity, completeness, and factual information. Question 3. Why should assumptions be avoided? Answer. Assumptions can lead to incorrect conclusions and reduce report credibility. Employability module. Career application. The competencies covered in Module 7 are highly valued throughout the industry. Organizations require personnel who can conduct inspections, assist investigations, monitor compliance, gather evidence, support audits, prepare reports, and track corrective actions. These skills are particularly important in oil and gas facilities. Examples: refineries, LNG plants, offshore installations, tank farms, petrochemical facilities. Examples: process plants, chemical manufacturing facilities, construction projects. Examples: high-rise developments, infrastructure projects, industrial construction, manufacturing operations. Examples: production facilities, warehouses, fabrication workshops. Career opportunities. Competencies gained from this module support progression into HSE Assistant Safety Officer, HSE Coordinator, Permit Coordinator, Compliance Officer, Audit Support Personnel, Shutdown Safety Representative. Professional Development Message. A competent HSE professional does more than identify hazards. They investigate, they verify, they document, they communicate, they improve systems. These capabilities distinguish professional practitioners from observers. Final recap, quiz, module assessment question 1. What is the difference between an immediate cause and a root cause? Answer: an immediate cause directly contributes to the event, while a root cause is the underlying system failure that allowed the event to occur. Question 2. Why is evidence preservation important? Answer: to ensure accurate investigation findings and support effective root cause analysis. Question 3. What is the difference between an inspection and an audit? Answer: an inspection focuses on workplace conditions, while an audit evaluates management system effectiveness. Question 4. What is a nonconformance? Answer: failure to meet a specified requirement. Question 5. Why should HSE reports be factual and objective? Answer: to support accurate decision-making, legal compliance, and professional credibility. Question 6. What is the purpose of corrective action? Answer: to eliminate causes and prevent recurrence of incidents or nonconformities. Question 7. Why should investigations avoid blame? Answer: blame discourages reporting and prevents identification of system weaknesses. Question 8. Name 3 types of evidence used in investigations. Answer: physical evidence, documentary evidence, digital evidence, and witness evidence. Module summary key learning points. Throughout Module 7, we covered incident investigation, immediate causes, underlying causes, root causes, evidence preservation, witness, interviewing, inspection techniques, formal inspections, informal inspections, observation programs, hazard identification, HSE audits and compliance, internal audits, external audits, nonconformities, corrective action tracking, legal responsibilities, employer duties, employee responsibilities, compliance obligations, documentation and reporting, incident reports, inspection reports, NCRs, audit reports, daily HSE reports, final compliance disclaimer, compliance notice. This training program has been developed for educational purposes and aligns with NEBOSH International General Certificate Principles, IOSH Managing Safely Guidance, ISO 45001:2018 requirements, ILO Convention C-155, HSG 245 investigating accidents and incidents. Learners must always follow site-specific procedures, comply with applicable legislation, adhere to company requirements, work under competent supervision, and follow authorized work processes. Completion of this training does not authorize independent HSE practice. Authorization must be granted by competent management and organizational procedures. KayHab 17 closing message. KayHab 17, HSE Global Safety Leader. You have now completed Module 7, Incident Investigation, Inspections, and Compliance. Remember, major incidents rarely occur because hazards are unknown. Most incidents occur because controls were missing, ineffective, ignored, or not verified. Professional HSE practitioners understand the importance of investigation, verification, inspection, compliance, documentation, continuous improvement. At KayHab 17, HSE Global Safety Leader. We believe safety leadership begins with competence, accountability, and professional responsibility. The best safety professionals never stop learning. They never stop verifying. And they never stop improving. Thank you, and to Module 7. KayHab 17, HSE Global Safety Leader Professional Training Academy.